Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Ellen and I recently went on a 10-day Alaskan cruise with my husband Steven and our friends Rachel and Kayor. We sailed aboard the Norwegian Sun, embarking from Seattle, Washington, and during our trip we stopped in Juneau, Skagway, Icy Strait Point, Glacier Bay, Sitka, Ketchikan, and Victoria, British Columbia. In this multi-part series, I'll share my experience as well as tips and recommendations for anyone considering going on a similar cruise. In this video, we'll sail into Glacier Bay and afterwards make a stop in Sitka. We got a very early start to our day by enjoying an overcast sunrise over the beautiful Alaska coastline. One thing that makes an Alaska cruise different in a good way are the amazing views. While we did have a handful of sea days, it felt like most of the time we were surrounded by little islands or sailing next to mountains that rose out of the water. Granted, I am new to cruising, and this was my second cruise, so my only frame of reference was sailing to the Caribbean, which is a vastly different experience. I deeply enjoyed this cruise because it felt like we were constantly surrounded by amazing landscapes, whereas the Caribbean cruise had been pretty, but a constant stretch of ocean except for when we stopped at ports of call. For anyone considering going on a cruise to Alaska during September and October, pack warm clothes. It is strange packing cold weather attire for a cruise, but it is necessary for this one. I made the mistake of not packing a substantial winter coat and ended up regretting it on this day in particular. After enjoying the sunrise, I met Rachel and Kayor for breakfast. As per usual, the food in the main dining room was far better than the food served at the buffet, in my humble opinion. Plus, Kayor became friends with one of the staff in the dining room, and he would bring us Indian food and naan during breakfast, which was so good. Whether a staff member brings you special off-menu items or not, rule of thumb, always be polite and say thank you. The staff on these ships work very hard, and a little bit of kindness goes a long way. After breakfast, we made our way towards the bow of the ship, where there is a large indoor lounge area. Many of the cruisers opted to enjoy the views of Glacier Bay from inside the ship, especially since it was so windy outside. But Kayor and I went to the very front of the ship anyway, and my gosh, it was so cold, but the views were worth it. I later went and borrowed Steven's winter coat because my hoodie wasn't warm enough. I'll definitely be bringing a heavier coat next time I visit Alaska. While I did love cruising through Glacier Bay, this very rapidly became my least favorite stop. Not because of the destination, but because of the large crowd that formed at the front of the ship once we got closer to the Johns Hopkins Glacier. It's an amazing view if you stay at the railing at the front of the ship and don't move from your spot. If you dare to move, you won't be getting your spot back. Everyone wants to get pictures, videos, and selfies, so the very front of the ship is prime real estate. I had gotten there early, and when I was standing at the railing, I had large groups crowding behind me, all trying to squeeze to the front, phones raised and cameras in hand. I have a deep dislike of being in compact crowds and feeling trapped, so this experience made me viscerally uncomfortable. I tried my best to ignore my feelings about the crowd because Glacier Bay is truly beautiful. NCL had a park ranger on board, which made the experience even better as they shared interesting facts about glaciers, the park, and the wildlife that call it home. Because the Norwegian Sun is a smaller cruise ship, they do sail it close to the glacier, which I wasn't expecting. Because the glacier is slowly melting, we occasionally could hear it cracking, which was so loud it sounded a little bit like lightning. There were even some large chunks of ice that broke off the glacier and landed in the bay while we were there. Another thing I enjoyed about Glacier Bay were the seals that were lounging on different ice chunks. They are actually very well camouflaged and fairly difficult to see from the ship. I thankfully brought my point-and-shoot camera and was able to get some close-up photos of these little guys using my zoom lens. I don't bring my point-and-shoot on all my trips because packing it can be cumbersome, but if you have a good photography camera, I do recommend bringing it on your trip to Alaska. There are many great photo opportunities, and you'll be happy to have higher quality images when you get back from your trip. Later, we all hung out in the library on board, which is nice and quiet with lots of seating. I had been working on a crochet sweater, so it was nice to make some progress on that project. Many cruise itineraries have different groups that meet, and on this particular cruise, there was a crochet and needlework group. I would have liked to have gone, but unfortunately found out about it a little too late. So I'll need to bring a crochet project on my next cruise so I can join in on the fun. After hanging out in the library, we had dinner and then we went to see a show. This evening was an ABBA tribute, which was a lot of fun. The next morning, we docked in Sitka and after a quick breakfast made our way off the ship. We had made plans to visit Fortress of the Bear and then explore the waterfront. The ship docked a little further from the town, so we filed onto one of the buses headed in that direction. Once in Sitka, we hired an Uber to take us where we needed to go. There are excursions to Fortress of the Bear, but we found it was a lot cheaper just to go on our own. The only downside is finding a taxi or Uber that will take you there, because when a cruise ship is in port, drivers are definitely in short supply. Rachel recommended that we go here, and I'm so glad we did. The drive there was really pretty, and being able to see the bears up close was a great time. Fortress of the Bear is a rescue that saves orphaned bears and finds homes for them in zoos and sanctuaries around the world. These bears were about to go into hibernation, so they were kinda chunky and super cute. They were even trained to wave when they wanted to ask for more fish. I wouldn't want to run into one of these in the wild though. They are big, but don't let their size fool you. Adult bears can run up to 30 miles per hour and climb trees, so I'm avoiding being near one of these fuzzy buddies at all costs. Look at those mountains. We just got back from Fortress of the Bears. It was great. And Steven got me a stuffed animal. Isn't that right, Steven?
Yeah.
The bears were super cute. Highly recommend going if you're ever in Sitka. And we like the fact that the proceeds from the shop go towards helping the bears. We are on our way to the Sitka Sound Science Center. Kind of curious. We'll see how it goes. Our next stop was the Sitka Sound Science Center, which is a nonprofit that was founded in 2011. It's a small aquarium and salmon hatchery where guests can learn about local aquatic wildlife and the life cycle of salmon, as well as how all these creatures live and affect different parts of Alaska's ecosystems. We really enjoyed our time here, especially the touch tank where you can carefully touch starfish, sea anemone, and sea urchins, which are native to Alaska. There are guided tours to visit the Science Center, but it's a lot less expensive if you go on your own, and it's an easy half-mile walk from the Centennial Visitor Center. Oh no, 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 you have to let go, friend. Let go, let go, let go. After a quick tour of the salmon hatchery, we made our way back to the visitor center to catch a bus back to the ship. Of course, we did take our time getting back so we could enjoy some of the great scenery in Sitka. Once back on board, Kaor and I hung out next to the window in the buffet in hopes we'd spot some whales. They were far away, but we were able to see some as the ship set sail. When I go back to Alaska, one excursion I'd love to try is whale watching. I would have loved to have gotten a closer look at these amazing creatures. And there were some boats out in the water getting pretty close to the whales. I'm guessing they were part of a whale watching excursion. For dinner, we went to Cagney's Steakhouse, which is one of the specialty restaurants on board. The food was good, but I personally felt that the food in the main dining room is just as good. So in the future, I probably wouldn't spend extra money to go there. If you have any questions about my experience aboard the Norwegian Sun or cruising in Alaska, leave a comment below. In the next video, join me for adventures in Ketchikan. And if you enjoyed this video, please like it and subscribe to my channel. It really helps the algorithm know that I'm here. Well, until the next one, I am out. Bye!